Hello fellow LEGO addicts and welcome to the channel and a review of the latest, one of the greatest, Harry Potter sets that has come out, and I was very kindly gifted by my lovely members for my birthday and wedding. If you've been following the live streams, you know that I was nearing completion with this one and I have finished it off camera, and oh my gosh, did I have fun building this. This is just stunning. There is various aspects of this build that I really want to talk about because I have various thoughts on this, but I think overall, before we jump in, we're gonna have to acknowledge the obvious. Displays very well. Hedwig is adorable. It's one actually that when it came out I wasn't entirely sure about. The rumours beforehand really weren't getting me super excited, but at the same time when I saw pictures I was really impressed. It wasn't like Diagon Alley where I was like, I have to get this day one no matter what. It was going to be a more considered purchase, but because I was really kindly gifted it by my members, this is a really good time to chat about it and to kind of tell you my thoughts, because I have quite a few actually. The first thing I wanted to mention, and that I also mentioned on the live stream when I started building this, is how really thought out the bags were. So this build starts with bag one, in which you build the Harry Potter glasses, the Harry Potter wand, and also the glow-in-the-dark Felix Felicis. So after bag one, you have a really fun, goofy plaything. You have a wand, you can be Harry Potter if you want to, and you get the Felix Felicis bottle to kind of test out the glow-in-the-dark aspect, and I think that is genius. And it created that sense of fun for me. So after bag one I got really excited because I had the glasses to play with. I really felt like I'd build various things, like I was into the build. It also made you really appreciate the very genius way that they designed the glasses. And yeah, I was really hyped up after bag one. It was so much fun, especially considering this is quite a quote-unquote like repetitive-ish build, just because you're trying to build similar-ish objects or quite big objects. Having the first bag be a few small objects that are like quick to build and really give you that sense of joy was a genius move. After bag one, you move on to the base of this build, which is like Tom Riddle's diary, which is the bottom book of this set, and then there's two more books on top which both use a very similar building technique. Also, the Tom Riddle book uses one of my favourite new techniques I came across in the build, which was the way to make the pages on the side, which are kind of just L-shaped plates stacked into each other and then slid into a specifically made groove, and that was so clever and was really fun. And also theoretically I think before this set would have been an illegal LEGO technique, because I think technically before then LEGO always said things need to be attached. I am not clued up on the illegal LEGO techniques, I have to say, but it struck me as like, oh, that was very unusual for LEGO, but it's really effective and looks awesome. After the Tom Riddle diary, you move on to these two books in this pile here. So there's a blue book and a red book, like dark blue and dark red, both of which are really similar builds and quite quick builds because they're pretty straightforward. They aren't the most inspiring of builds, but they are really effective, and because there is a like support structure going through the middle of those books, there is always a hole in the middle. So as much as the book builds aren't like, wow, how clever, they are really effective, and actually once you've built those three books, it really feels like you're getting somewhere. It looks really good. I really like the skill they chose for the book. I think it's very effective. After the books you move on to the Hermione Granger like potion tray, which isn't entirely obvious straight away just because you built the tray before the rest. I guess obviously you know what the end set is going to look like and what the tray is going to be used for, but it's not the most obvious thing that you're building. But I have to say it was one of the least exciting bits of this build. What I would really have loved is if after building the tray we could have had some potion bottle builds. At that stage of the build you've built quite a lot of long, relatively monotonous builds. I'm not going to say, like, it's still fun, but because you're building specific items, there is quite a lot of repetition of things. Whereas I think if you then had the potion bottles, it would have felt a little bit more fun and a little bit more finicky, and it was like a different type of build again. And the potion bottles also really are like such a lovely detail that it would have been really nice to have that add into the bottle straight away. But instead you move on to Hedwig. Now, Hedwig's end result is amazing. Like, £35 Hedwig that you can crank has nothing on her. She is stunning, her face is adorable, and also moves 360 degrees. It is a stunning, stunning, stunning build, and I really enjoyed it. The only thing is that the feathers, after a while, do get slightly repetitive. Because it's obviously a very similar colour everywhere, you just end up repeating similar-ish techniques for quite a long time, because you have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 relatively similar feathers of various sizes, and then at the back you have tilt feathers that are quite similar as well. Though not every single feather is exactly the same, there's obviously 2-ish of each, they're mirrored, and then there's also quite a lot per wing, so actually you end up doing a similar build for quite a lot of the time. And I have to say, by the end of the feathers, I was kind of like, okay, I'm kind of done with the feathers. That's obviously a criticism that you can't really forego, because if you're building a specific buildable object, you are going to have a type of repetition, because you're getting to a specific end result that needs to look like symmetrical and like an owl. I mean, I'm saying this as a criticism. It isn't really a criticism of the set. I think it's just something that when you buy this, you just need to be aware of, because sometimes people may make a decision on what set to buy for the most interesting build, and I think this uses a lot of interesting technique to make a buildable figure, but the actual techniques, there's not that many of them, is what I'm trying to say. But like, doing all of that is for sure worth it, because look at the end result. How amazing is this? It's so exciting. I actually saw the advert for like Christmas time where there was this huge buildable Hedwig in like the Harry Potter shot with the kid with the flying scarf, and I was like, she looks amazing, like I would want that buildable Hedwig. And obviously little did we know at the time that was going to be a teaser for a set they were going to do, so that was exciting. After Hedwig you move on to the potions bottles, which are actually the ones that use the stickers the most. I do have to be honest though, applying the stickers to the potion bottles isn't the easiest. You do need to find some sort of like guide to make sure that they're straight. Realistically, these are potion bottles, they probably wouldn't have been straight if you found them in Hogwarts, but I know you all out there that are like getting worried about putting stickers on things. They aren't easy to apply. Just because you're putting them on a curved surface, there is not as much guidance. There are some ways you can do it, but I think, yeah, the stickers aren't the easiest part, but they do really give the detail that you want. After that, you move on to the scarf, as well as the buildable platform with the golden figures. Now, the buildable platform is actually already on my minifigure wall, and it was a joy to build. I've opted to make the extended one because I thought that looked the best. And I very, very much enjoyed building the chocolate frog card with Dumbledore in it. I think it looks fantastic. Also, I was really impressed that actually his name thing in front of him is a print. So I was like, wow, I didn't see this coming. And during that sort of like build process of that, you also build the scarf that is underneath the Tom Riddle's diary, as well as the chocolate frog. Now, let's just talk about the chocolate frog first, because he's awesome. I really liked him. Ben thought he was adorable, and I'm gonna have to agree with him. I'm really like impressed that they included him. He's a really fun little build. I thought the techniques he used were like really interesting, and you can pose him to jump as well, which I thought was really, really exciting, because that's like such a fun little detail that you wouldn't always expect, because, you know, here he is, jumping away from my hand, escaping. I have one overarching criticism of this set, and that is the scarf. The scarf, in comparison to the colour and detail of the set, feels a little bit lacking in detail. And on a personal note, and I think this is something that quite a lot of people have pointed out, is they could have really done without it. It's a nice way to add a few more bricks for sure, but it's a really simplistic build. I have to say, I think because I used the Gryffindor colours, it's possibly the least nice looking one. I think if I built the Ravenclaw or the Slytherin one, it would have looked slightly nicer, especially the Slytherin one, I think, because the colours would complement it more. But especially the Gryffindor one just kind of feels a little bit like French fries in a McDonald's package. It's not as nice. I've only left it on here for the review for now, but I'm actually going to take it off when I actually go and display it. It's just not something I really want to have on there, so that's probably my main criticism. And then there's a golden snitch, which I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with, because I like that it's included, and I think it adds a really fun extra detail on the side, but I don't love the colour of the wings. I really, really wish that the wings were the same nice metallic gold as the ball itself. I think the build itself was fun, and I think the size of it is really nice. It's described in the books as like walnut size. It's slightly bigger than walnut size, but it's a good size for it to be. I just wish that the wings was the same metallic gold, because I feel like the gold that they chose, and I'm sure it's to do with the way that the part is or whatever, the way that the wings are, they do feel a little bit, I don't know, they seem cheap compared to the ball. So I would really have liked that they've changed that. But overall, I do like that they've added it to it. I think it looks really fun. It moves up and down a bit as well. So the detail that it gives is fantastic. And then you move on to the final detail, which is this really nice printed Hogwarts acceptance letter, which, I mean, it's stunning, it's great, it's beautiful. We're actually planning on using this set as a display piece at our wedding, and what we're probably going to do is we're going to have some paper sit over here, kind of just welcoming people to the wedding, because it's such a lovely little like bit of paper. Obviously we don't want it to damage the set, so it's just going to sit over the top, but it's a fantastic print. I don't think I'll ever write my name on there, mostly just because I don't feel like my handwriting is ever going to look nice enough compared to the beautiful writing that's meant to be McGonagall's, but also I just don't think I want to add anything that permanent to a set like this. So I think the conclusion is, I do still want Gringotts, and I stand by my why do we get this and not Gringotts. I know the reason, don't get me wrong. However, I think this set is a really beautiful design for what it is. I think the display of it is fantastic. It feels really sturdy. It's really quite easy to move if you hold on to the sides of Tom Riddle's diary. Like, it feels fine to move. It doesn't feel like things are going to fall off or break. So actually how sturdy it is fantastic. I think for when we display this at our wedding, we are going to take away like the glasses and the chocolate frog, which are just loose details, because I think they're going to be like too easy to get lost. But it's a fantastic set, and I've very much enjoyed the build. As I said, my main criticism is just a scarf. I just don't want French fry scarves on my build. I think this is a really fun purchase for like a big present or a birthday or a special occasion, or just something that you slowly build up towards. It's not something like that you have to get right now, but it's a perfect little autumn-winter build. Now in the UK, we're going into autumn-winter. I think this is going to be a really fun set to buy, to kind of like work on in your evening hours. And I think if you are into Lego and Harry Potter, this is definitely a set that you will want in your collection if you have the room to display it, because it is really, really stunning. One other note I just wanted to add on to this is I'm really curious to see how this is going to age, because obviously I'm very conscious that this build is very predominantly white, and white is possibly the most sensitive to light and discoloration over time. So I think as much as this is a beautiful display piece, I would recommend especially this set to display somewhere that doesn't really get a lot of sunlight, because you don't really want in a few years time or a year's time to have these bricks start to go yellow. I think it's worth thinking about, because of how much white there is on there. Replacing the white that goes yellow is going to be pretty difficult. Overall, really enjoyable build. I'm super grateful to the members for giving this to us. I think it's going to look fantastic at the wedding, and I'm really excited to see what our guests are going to think of it. Hopefully it'll survive intact. We'll have to see. We'll have to trust our guests not to do anything to it. I'm really glad they kind of redid Hedwig and did her justice, because I just don't think the crankable one really did that. Right, I think that's all for me. I'm getting tired of hearing my own voice, so I think it's time for me to sign off. Thank you so very much for watching. Let me know if you have this set and what you think of it. Alrighty, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. If you like this video and want to see more like this, please don't forget to like and subscribe. That would be fantastic. If you are already a member, thank you so very much for the support of this channel. Generally can't do it without you. If you would like to join us, there is a join button just down below. You'll get access to the Discord, and you'll support this channel, which is very much appreciated by me, so you'll have my thanks. And I will see you all very, very soon, no doubt. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Goodbye!